Let's take a ride into the northern part of British Columbia. I've met quite a few people who have never been into the north. They've if they've been in BC at all, they've been around the Vancouver area, the Crow's Nest Pass area, fairly close to the American border. But they've never been into the northern part. And the northern part is a unique place. We just ran around into this part of British Columbia. Because we were north of this line here, we say we were in northern BC. But as you can see, northern BC has been designated by me as a much larger part of the province. The southern part of the province, smaller in geographic area, but that's where the main population, the biggest population area is at, near the American border. We started our trip at Revelstoke, just west of the Rogers Pass on the Trans-Canada Highway. And it's about 3 hours or so at 100 kilometers an hour and over to Cache Creek, where we then swung north on Highway 97 for another 3 or 4 hours. We're only about an hour south of Prince George. We stopped at Quesnel and then went for another short hour over to Barkerville, the old gold mining tourist town that really opened up this part of northern British Columbia. On the way back, rather than retrace our steps entirely back on the same road, we stopped at 100 Mile House, a small area, small city there, and took Highway 24 over this way to Highway 5 and then down to Kamloops. And that enabled us to stop by Sun Peaks, one of the premier one of the larger ski resort, mountain resort areas in British Columbia. Let's start our tour at Revelstoke at the western end of Rogers Pass on the Trans-Canada Highway. Revelstoke has a sizable ski hill, so we took the gondola up. That is the Columbia River and the main part of the city. Revelstoke grew as a railway divisional point, and the trains run right along the edge of the downtown, and the trains run often. The downtown has been built up, and it has a number of high-end tourist shops and restaurants. We like to overnight at the bridge across the Columbia River right at Revelstoke. It is a big stopping area, and the big rigs that pull in there help us sleep so soundly. Revelstoke has a nearby dam across the river and a national park that's just a few kilometers away. It has grown from a lumber town and a ski jumping center into an upscale resort community. We sleep so soundly at these truck stops that in this case here, all these big rigs had fired up and pulled out by the time we woke up in the morning. But we hit the road next morning too, just a little later. All this green you see in this part of the country is because of one thing: lots of moisture. Rain at times in summer and big snow in the winter. Check your wiper blades that they're in good shape. There are periodically some passing lanes, 3 lanes. The odd place has a 4-lane, but a lot of it is still 2-lane highway. It seems they are always working on the highway, converting it from a 2-lane road into a 3- and 4-lane highway. The work is particularly slow and expensive in remote mountain country like this. This was the best we found for a rest area in the 130 kilometer stretch between Revelstoke and Kamloops. Hopefully they will get some others built for the busy car and big truck traffic that continually runs the Trans-Canada Highway, which is the only road route through this part of the country. It looks like we're coming up to a place called Three Valley Gap, which is just west of Revelstoke. It is a 200-room resort with a ghost town, saloon, a historic jail, a one-room schoolhouse, a railway roundhouse, and an auto museum. I have always liked the setting here, but this is one of the bigger small tourist outlets that you find along the highway. You don't have to drive non-stop. There are a number of interesting stops. That netting on the left keeps rocks from falling down on the highway. I see we are coming into the community of Sicamous. There are houseboats here on the big Shuswap Lake. By the way, did you know how Sicamous got its name? Well, everybody knows how Sicamous got named. It was back in the days when they were building the Canadian Pacific Railway across the country. And the railway workers were building the rails through the mountains, through Rogers Pass and that, and all they had to eat was moose meat. They fed the moose, but they were looking forward to getting down here to the Shuswap country and switching their diet to fish. So they were plenty sick of moose by the time they got down to the Shuswap here. And it's about where Shuswap is at today, or where the Shuswap is at today. Sicamous, they were sick of moose, and that's how Sicamous got its name. You watch more of these videos of mine, and you'll get to be a whole lot smarter than you are. The highway is all four-laned through the Kamloops area. But once you get out of Kamloops, we're into this kind of country here, back to a two-lane highway. That water down there is part of the Thompson River system. The North Thompson joins the South or West Thompson near Kamloops. The countryside east of Kamloops is pretty dry. They don't get a lot of snowfall and rain, as you can tell in here. Farming is the main thing, and they mainly grow hay for cattle. But even the hay crops need irrigation, mainly from the Thompson River. I just saw a sign about a rest stop up ahead of us. Let's pull in. Maybe we could even make another cup of coffee. Have a little bit of a stretch. We are just a little east of Kamloops, and this looks like a nice big pullout. We can't pass this up. Lots of room. It's a chance to stretch your legs. Sometimes we catch a quick snooze in our RV. Kamloops Lake is all part of the Thompson River system. This is a nice pullout, one of the only nice pullouts along the highway in this stretch of road. A lot of people stop here, a lot of washrooms available, and picnic tables. It's a high point where you get a nice view of the landscape. As we swing the camera around here, you should see the Kamloops Lake, the Thompson River system down there below. And like I say, it is hot country. Even some rattlesnakes in this area. So stay on the path. The country was hot and dry as we continued east from Kamloops on the Trans-Canada Highway. And that was still the case at Cache Creek, where we then turned right on Highway 97 and traveled north toward Canal. As we traveled north, the hot, dry land changed more to a few more trees and more water. They irrigate from the creek. I think that's Cache Creek down there to the left. But when you get water, into this hot, fertile soil country, the green grass and the green trees grow. Like I say, a little more water as we head north. Highway 97 is a good road. It's the road that a lot of Americans take to Alaska. And it's a nice road. I like it. A lot of variety and pullouts and passing lanes. We're getting into wildfire country more. Here you can see more vegetation. And we pulled off at one of the numerous pullouts along the highway. You generally cannot see the Fraser River on the west or left-hand side of the highway in this picture. This is one more open area where you can see where water is pulled from the Fraser for irrigation. The rail line to Prince George is Canadian National. It is a freight line only. There is no passenger service on this line. We are on the Highway 97 going north to Williams Lake. We went past several communities like 70 Mile House and 100 Mile House. Largest community is Williams Lake, and it is a major center for a lot of cowboy and ranches in this area, especially on the west side of the highway in a region of BC known as the Chilcotin. In this video, we have just gone through Williams Lake, and we're headed north up to Quesnel and over to Barkerville to the east. Some of the ranches in the Chilcotin region are huge and remote and would rival ranches in the outback parts of rural Texas. We are coming into Williams Lake. That's the lake there. Back to those ranches, over the years, huge corporations and well-known celebrities and movie stars have owned some of them. Some of these ranches get their supplies here. Williams Lake also has a major stampede or rodeo every summer. A new visitor information center and museum is right along Highway 97 as you come into Williams Lake from the south. These are a few pictures in the museum, which is quite large and worth a stop to go into and get better oriented to the country. Stagecoaches travel the old Caribou wagon road to the Gold Rush area at Barkerville. And Highway 97 that we are on now is part of that old Caribou wagon road. The stagecoach is an American invention. So you can see stagecoaches here because of the considerable American influence even back as far as the gold rush days of the 1800s. Williams Lake is at the north end of the lake, mostly ranching around here. It's quite open country, not heavily forested, although forestry has been a big part of the community as well. It looks like these are some feed processing plants. This is cattle and ranching country. The way all communities develop is basically based on historical and geographic factors, and you can see this in Williams Lake. For example, public access to the lake is limited. The railway runs on the west side and the highway runs on the east side. The lake becomes shallow on the south end, thus making the only viable end for the city to develop has been on the north end of the lake. We are now north of Williams Lake. This rest stop has electrical charging stations, and notice how the forest has replaced the more open grassland country that was back at Williams Lake. As you roll into this northern British Columbia country, One of the main cities along the highway is a place called Quesnel. They used to call it Quesnel Forks. We are now in the small city of Quesnel, which is the forks of the Quesnel River and the Fraser River. And the Fraser is a substantial flow of water, as you can see. Just for comparison, the Columbia River that we saw back in Revelstoke when we started on this trip, the Columbia has a larger flow than the Fraser, but the Columbia drains southward into the United States. The Fraser, in contrast, is an all-Canadian river whose delta is at Vancouver. They have built a nice walkway and bicycle lane along the river at Quesnel. And this is the bridge across the river, a substantial bridge. Nice walkway. We really enjoyed it, both riding our bikes across this bridge and walking it as well. In the mid-1800s, they ran steamboats on the upper Fraser here. The boilers were fired with wood and burned 2 cords of wood every hour when paddling upstream. It would be less wood used when going downstream. But it was back in the days when passengers were expected to help to cut and carry wood onto the boat if they happened to run short of wood for fuel. The Fraser is the longest river entirely within British Columbia. Its length is nearly 1,400 kilometers in length, and it is one of the longest rivers in Canada. Headwaters are in Mount Robson Provincial Park, just across the Continental Divide near Jasper, Alberta. Here, water runs to the Pacific. On the other side of the divide, in Alberta, water runs to both the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans. As we walked along the walking and biking trail, there were some displays of old mining machinery from the gold rush days over at Barkerville. I'm just not exactly sure what these machines were used for. That obviously was a digger and a crane, and here's some more machinery here. Water wheels like this one were turned from water carried from ditches and wooden flumes. Buckets of ore was raised to the surface where it was now dumped into sluices or troughs, and the dirt was washed away, and heavier gold was left at the bottom of ridges in the bottom of the sluices. Many wood water wheels did not have a single metal nail in them. They were held together by wood pegs pounded tightly into holes drilled into the wood. At Quesnel, we just turned east, and we're headed for the old ghost town, gold town of Barkerville. We saw a young black bear along the road. Black bears can range from black to brown. Close near the town of Barkerville and Wells, Troll Resort is the local ski hill. But what struck me was, look at the grass growing on the top of these roofs at the ski hill. This country comes alive with skiers and snowmobilers in winter. There's more of that grass growing on the top of the roof. We visited the Gold Rush tourist town of Barkerville, but the town of Wells, a few kilometers away, is where you find gas, food, and accommodations. I made separate videos of both Barkerville and Wells. We got some gas on this trip and turned around at Wells. So we did retrace our steps back to Quesnel through Williams Lake and down to the junction of Highway 24 with 97. And at that point, we then turned east on Highway 24 and went over to Highway 5, where we then followed the North Thompson River back south to Kamloops. So let's turn east on 24 and let's see what that part of the country is like. Highway 24 claims to be one of the finest fishing highways in the province. However, you do not see many of the lakes because of the dense bush. This was the largest lake we saw from the highway. If you are looking for scenery, this highway is not probably the best. But good fishing does not have to rely on readily available scenery. It is, nevertheless, still an enjoyable two-lane highway with still some good scenery along the way. I took some photographs along the highway of what this country is like, and it's a whole lot more than what you see with just one trip through it. This kind of country is also about mountain biking, and quadding or four-wheeling has always been popular. And we are up here in the summertime, whereas in the winter, things really come even more alive with winter recreation, winter sports. Snowmobiling has been always a popular thing. Things like cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, ice fishing are all part of an active winter recreation scene. We are coming up to the intersection of Highway 24 and Highway 5, and at that junction we'll head south toward Kamloops. But we have one more stop to make along that highway. This is Sun Peaks, one of Canada's biggest ski resorts and recreation areas. It's just north of Kamloops. This is only one of a number of hills in the area. And it has really built up over the years. Look at the complex of accommodations at this resort. It is now one of Canada's biggest. The ski slopes range from beginning green runs to expert black diamonds. As we drove around the main resort area, it was apparent that this was a major complex. The resort has had several owners and investors over the years, including one-time owner of the Edmonton Oilers of the National Hockey League, a fellow by the name of Peter Pockington. Karen Lee Gardner, a 1992 Canadian gold medal Olympic medal winner, at one time was also associated with Sun Peaks. Like most other major ski resorts, the resort has expanded into summertime activities of mountain biking. We came off the mountain and back to Highway 5 and headed south toward Kamloops. We followed the North Thompson River here, and it is quite a dry area once we got down to the lower elevations. You can see where a forest fire had ripped through the valley here not too long ago. In dry areas like these, it is doubtful the forest will ever regrow. But the growth is still good along the river, and we are heading toward Kamloops. Well, we've had a chance to take a look at the northern part of this country and what it's like. And we'll be heading back out that way and some other places So hit the subscribe button, and that'll tell you when we're putting more videos on the internet. This is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. To find more videos, just do what it says on the bottom of the card. Google Don Barnett 5090, click my name, and then click the word playlists in the middle of the page. Each playlist contains several travel videos.